Hey y'all, I saw Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, and now I'm gonna review it. Let's get into it. Nirvana the band, the show, the movie was directed by Matt Johnson, co-written by Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll, and it was my most anticipated movie of the year. As soon as this movie was announced, I was excited for it more than I'm excited for most things. I love the Nirvana the band web series and the Viceland series, and when it comes to Matt Johnson's filmography, Blackberry is the only movie of his I've seen, but I really enjoyed it a lot. I haven't seen Operation Avalanche or The Dirties yet, but I'm getting around to it. For those unaware, Nirvana the band, the show, is a mockumentary-style sitcom that follows Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll playing semi-fictionalized versions of themselves as they try to get their band, Nirvana the band, to book a show at the Rivoli, a local club in their hometown of Toronto. Most episodes revolve around Matt coming up with some ridiculous plan to book a show instead of just calling and asking and writing songs. The show leans heavily on improv, whether it be Matt and Jay improvising against each other or them interacting with real people. The style of Nirvana the band is something that is very fascinating to me. Matt Johnson is a major cinephile, and his work on Nirvana the band is very reminiscent of the Iranian New Wave. The Iranian New Wave, with directors like Abbas Kiarostami and his protege Jafar Panahi, stylistically focuses on a blurring of the line between reality and fiction. If a movie is a created reality, then the characters in the movie would have to act as though the events of the movie are real, even though we, the audience in the real world, know that it's all fake, it's all a movie. But adding in a layer of authenticity by having, real everyday people in the movie, and you present the movie as though it were just a documentary with some level of truth to it, makes for a thought-provoking experience as you start to question basically everything you see. Like, how much of Nirvana the band, the show, is real, how much of it is scripted, how much of this movie is real, how much of this movie is scripted. And this movie ends up being one of the most creative and ingenious movies that I've seen in a very, very long time. Countless moments in this movie, I am just in awe. I'm just in awe of the level of foresight that they had to have to make this movie. Just so many insane moments that I'm just like, how do they plan this? How do they script this? In trailers for the movie, the skydiving sequence is treated as if it's what the movie's building up to, but I love that it's the first thing that they do in the movie, basically. And just the way that they actually do it, I'm just it's just so insane. It's just so insane to me. The middle of the movie takes place in 2008, and it's after they travel back in time, and it has them interacting with their 2008 selves. And the way they did it was really, really clever. They had hours and hours of archive footage from 2008, basically just lying around somewhere, and they managed to find some of the archive footage that could be repurposed into this movie. But the way that it's integrated into the narrative and the way that it helps to serve the themes of the movie is so seamless that you would think they filmed footage in 2008 specifically for this movie that they wouldn't make for another 17 years. The whole 2008 sequence in the movie has just some really funny moments and also has some really creative moments. I would love to see an extended cut of this movie where it has a longer sequence of them in 2008. I hope they, release that in some way. And the final part of the movie where they drag an extension cord all the way from the top of the CN Tower down to the street, and they just drive around ridiculously fast from the cops. I'm just like how do they not get arrested? Seriously, this movie is just so impressive in terms of its content and just how it was made. The movie is also ridiculously funny, but when it comes to comedy and humor, that's something that I can't really explain. I can't really tell you why the movie is really funny. It just is. I just find it really funny. And to me, it's the best kind of comedy because the movie is still funny after repeated viewings. I've seen this movie 4 times already, all 4 times in theaters. And this movie just gets funnier and funnier every time I watch it because there's new things that I notice that I didn't notice the previous time. There's new jokes that I gather from repeated viewings. The movie's plot follows Matt and Jay as they travel back in time, 2008, and they end up changing the future, so they have to make things right again. It's essentially just Back to the Future self-insert fan fiction. It's more like Back to the Future Part 2 because they end up changing the past and the future's bad. It's like a bad ending, alternate reality. So they have to go back to the past and change the past again, and then it's a whole thing. And like Back to the Future or really any time travel movie, it explores how the passage of time affects us, how it affects the way we live our lives, how it affects what we find funny, and how it affects our relationships. No one likes growing old, but growing old gives us perspective. It gives us an appreciation for all the good times that we had. And growing old with someone you love essentially doubles that appreciation. In the same way that Back to the Future is about the friendship between Doc and Marty, this movie is about the friendship between Matt and Jay. For that reason in particular, I do think it is worth seeing the original show before watching the movie. I don't think you have to see the show to watch the movie. I mean, I watched it with my dad. My dad's never heard of Matt Johnson in his life, but he had a really fun time watching it. He loved the movie. The movie also goes further with its Back to the Future influence. It even uses some musical motifs from the movies, and there's a really funny joke that they make about them using the music from Back to the Future. The music in the movie was actually composed by Jay himself, and it does a great job capturing the spirit of Back to the Future. It has that sense of, wonder and magic that the original Alan Silvestri score also had. The movie just has such a magical and almost miraculous energy to it. Like you're watching something that you really haven't seen before, even with all the Back to the Future influences. Yes, it has fantastic direction and great humor and great music and great performances, but at its core, it's just a beautifully earnest and passionate work of filmmaking. The kind of passion that is just rarely seen in movies these days. This movie is really just a truly impressive achievement in cinema. I could just pull out a thesaurus and just tell you all of the synonyms for the word great. And that still wouldn't be enough to describe how just insanely fantastic this movie is. I just love it so much. I could just watch it 4 more times, honestly. Fucking 10 out of 10, man. Fucking 10 out of 10. Freaking 11 out of 10, honestly. Freaking 11. Great. Great stuff. I highly recommend you watch it, but as of recording this video, it's not in theaters anymore, but I believe they're gonna do like a VOD release like on digital at some point, and maybe a physical release as well at some point. We'll have to see what happens with that. I would love a physical release of this. I would just buy that immediately. I love physical release of Nirvana the band, the show, which I also recommend the shows as well. But the online presence of the shows have been, they've been disappearing recently. It seems it's getting harder and harder to watch shows, which could mean that they're going to be doing a physical release. But again, we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, that's it for this video. The next video I'm planning on doing an Oscars video, so that's going to come out sometime before the Oscars, like maybe like, I don't know, 2 days before. Yeah, I'm going to be working really hard for that. So if you want to see that, be sure to subscribe, like the video if you like the video, follow me on Letterboxd and Twitter if you care at all, and I will see you in the next one.